Something that, as soon as I watch Father Spiriton, I change my voice, change my tone. Obviously, I should watch him more. Quite obviously, I should heed the good priests of the Orthodox Church more. And there's many others, but there's something very powerful about the Orthodox. So, something I was thinking about that it's something that it comes up every so often. It's completely misunderstood, and it's been very sad the way that I was fooled by this. It was too complicated of a subject. Money and currency are different things. The dollar bills that we have are a currency. Money, that the actual where we derive the word money from, is the reference to a precious metal at all times. Currency is paper, money is a precious metal. We've just altered what they mean, and it's been altered at the level of really more elite parts of society, intellectuals, politicians, lawyers, that end of society, and eventually goes down to the lowest level of quote-unquote intellectuals, the writers. A thing that a lot of Democrats, especially in liberals, you're raised to think very highly of writers, and you shouldn't. Of any occupation that you're going to find a psychopath, somebody who they will lie and then ask why you're upset about the fact they lied to you or tried to deceive you. That's very, very often the thing of writers. Fanciful and deceptive, and thinking that it's okay that they do. That's their personal truth. That's really almost even where that came from. In popular culture, a personal truth really comes from the biographical nature of writers, from really about the baby boom on, but even earlier than that. But if you read stuff from like the early 1900s, there's a lot of it that it's beautifully adroit with its language, and very much something that it's supposed to be something that reveals what is true through observantia. And so that it's not trying to make up the truth, not trying to generate some kind of artificial truth. So something I was thinking about with this, very few Democrats and liberals are really have had it explained to them. Why is it that Bill Clinton and Barack Obama and all these former presidents are so chummy? Why is it like they all hang out, or they all know each other, or all like each other, but they all loathe Donald Trump? It's because they are in the same kind of elite circles of people. They all came from the most elite colleges, and I mean, when you're talking about the Bush family, I mean that's just not even the fact that there's a dynastic. We have lived to see a dynastic presidency with the Bushes, and that this goes unquestioned by young liberals. At one time, this was offensive. This was an offensive concept to conservatives. Republicans were not fond of the idea that they were electing the son of a former CIA department head who denied that he had. He denied his association with the CIA way back in the day, even though it came out eventually that the Bush family were key to the founding of the CIA, and that it looks very much like them and a bunch of other financiers and very wealthy people actually put the initial kind of money and network of people together to make that happen. So the young, now most people on the right not only are aware of this is a critical thing about the right wing. This person's I'm standing in the wrong place. This is a critical thing to understand about the right wing. The right wing had to confront what have we done? What has the Republican Party done? What has the Christian right done? What have the traditionalists done? The traditionalists got weak and failed. Christianity has gotten weak and has become a permissive mother whose child and that she's constantly arguing with everybody that her child is not so bad. God forgives all sins. You should be forgiving too of her child's misdeeds. And of course, heavily focused on women taking artificial birth control and being promiscuous, and the men falling out too, and falling into addiction, drunkenness, such like becoming drunken Freemasons. I'm kidding. But something important, that to understand why we don't run on a gold standard anymore, that everybody loves kind of talking about, their key, the McCarthy era. Well, McCarthy was right. We've actually, if you research it, you'll end up finding out McCarthy was absolutely correct. The government and Hollywood were rife with communists. People who actually were meeting in, like, they were really communists. Like, they actually would meet, and like this has been found over and over again with groups of teachers and school boards for now almost 100 years. That you'll find these weird clusters of communists that become school teachers, and especially in the realm of things like language, history, and civics, that kind of thing. Mathematicians have hard sciences has a harder time because communism's epistemology is so shaky. So that's Marxist epistemology is shaky at best, and so how people are, how people were, and that Marxism sort of allows people to become like kind of truly some great human or something, but only if everybody were to do it all at the same time, according to the some set of arbitrary rules. You all have to do communism the right way, or do socialism the right way, and then you'll actually have communism. If you all follow the party unquestioningly, you will get utopia. It's easy. It's very easy formula now that we've seen it so many times. You could actually walk through it pretty quick. And it's not terribly different than Nazism, and they end up doing a lot of the same things too. So one of the things that oh, look at this! I always love stupid things like this in Eugene, Oregon. None of these people have ever seen a Nazi skinhead in real life. They've never encountered, white Aryan resistance. They never they wouldn't even know what Rahowa means. They would think Rahowa sounds like some city it's a city in Israel, or it's a city. It's one of the areas in Gaza, the Rahowa refugee camp. Holy crap! I can't believe I've never thought of that one, because that's pretty bad actually now when I think about it. I know there's a bunch of you who know enough about that term and what that term means that you're probably like, that is pretty bad and it's pretty funny. But So not a lot of people who are left of center, who are Democrats, the feminists and stuff, you don't really get what has happened is that at an elite level, your labor is not worth gold. Your labor is not worth silver. Because gold and silver are absolutely critical to electronics, such electronics are absolutely critical to the military. Oh, hello. Are absolutely critical to the goodbye. Are absolutely critical to the military district, the military industrial complex and weaponry. I have no idea what that was about. All I know is I saw crazy as hell happening right there. Sorry if that seemed really rude. That's full on San Francisco kicked in there. I've gotten really, really fast with people like that. Like, where I don't necessarily like it, but now it's over. And that is, as Trump would say, and that's done. So, the idea of gold and silver, your time is worth that. Now, if you were a banker, bankers own gold. I guarantee you, people who are in high finance, people who are in banking, only a very small portion of society owns silver and gold. Like actual silver and gold, that they could hold it in their hands. Very, very few people. So this now means that most people are holding on to everything they did in their life. All those hours you worked, it's just a bunch of paper. You have nothing more than paper. And that's a crime. That's a sin. Because it's a lie. You're worth gold and silver. That's how your time in life is supposed to be represented. You should be remunerated properly. And so, and we know how you should be remunerated properly because we have a descriptor of what proper remuneration for your time is from the Bible. And so, and it's a long time standing tradition of you're remunerating people in silver talents, and for kings and nobility, gold. And in America, you could be a common person with these things. In modern India, you could be a common person with these things. In China, you could be one of these, billion peasant people, no matter what level they're at. They're all peasants because they're all ruled by a dictatorship, by fundamentally a fascist dictatorship. I gotta admit, Tom Hartman was correct in that. There's not really a way around it. They decimate ethnic minorities in their country and then say they don't. And it's Han ethnic hegemony. And so in China, rather than ethnic minorities sort of being included in society very fluidly, they just do what they do, live as they live, they're kind of showpieces of the Communist Party. So they're mascots. They're minority mascots for the Communist Party. It is actually inherently what we would think of as something like fascism or National Socialism. So it's wrong that a lot of young people don't get, because you're hung up on abortion. You desperately need to believe, the right wing, they're these horrible racist people. But gold and silver make everyone equal. That's it. I mean, gold and silver as payment make everybody equal. That's the whole issue. And then beyond that, when you actually see how currency has been used by our system, this is what's important about why the Bush family has been chucked out of the Republican Party. Republicans were they listened to the left. And the left actually at one time had some very good arguments about, that's interesting. Oh, well. Oh, well, this is interesting. I should show you guys this. Here's the Oddfellows building. Oh, now that's interesting. I'm not going to show you that. It's just the way a last name is spelled. That of all the names, of all the buildings that would then have this name on the window, that I'm like, wait a second. If you were to spell that in a way that's more correctly German, how common is that last name? Anyway, I'm just going to roll that one around in my mind for a little while. And so, the weaponization of the American dollar was something that the left put the right onto. And then the right did more research. And that's when you started to find, oh, this is the historic deal between Aramco and the United States on hitching the dollar to oil. And so therefore, because you never really know how much oil is actually there, this is sort of this aim, the floating standard allows for basically this country that is incredibly militarily powerful to just decide arbitrarily what something is worth. And so we've been able to just basically kind of say, no, your entire country isn't worth shit. Your labor isn't worth shit. This is really why China has become this factory for the world and has worked in 2 generations to the bone, and now most of these people have nothing to show for it. At this point, many of these people have nothing or less than nothing to show for it after all this time of following the rules and working hard. And so, a lot of the people on the right, the reason this whole thing of like kind of the little guys on the right, what happened was, and a lot of people from the left ended up, becoming these right wingers, because what it was that they were like, I can't agree to such. Now, once they knew what the American dollar really was, essentially, it's this paper that we sort of decide at these elites decide, this is what your paper will buy. This is what a human's hourly worth is in American dollars. A lot of people could not abide this. And when they tried to explain this to what was formerly their party, the Democrats, they found nobody cared. Nobody either understood it or they just didn't care. And that they were averse to even discussing money. That there's actually kind of a fear of it, because it's this sort of area that nobody has ever, what the fuck? Human tenants aren't the only ones experiencing landlord oppression. Oh my God. Okay, no. It's this idea of defend the neighborhood. Don't allow people to be evicted from somebody else's property because they're not paying for it. And they're like, look, you see picture of a dog. See, because what they're doing is oppressing people with dogs. It's oppression. I don't have to pay. And now I mostly want to appeal at this stage really to women, because I really think about this a lot. That's a system that cheats you all the most. Imagine if every day, imagine if you had, because of your significant other, there's a box with a pile of precious metals in it, because that's what you get paid in. People don't even realize the minimum wage at one time was like 1 silver quarter, and when quarters were made of mostly silver. So somebody did a calculation on this and said, if you had been paid in silver quarters to this day, you would be stinking rich because of the price of silver and its appreciation. And because there's only so much that comes out of the ground at one time, and that it's absolutely necessary in electronics. It has an industrial use, so therefore it's actually useful. And silver's always been actually useful in objects, as well as gold has always been useful in various objects. To carry on the level of production that was seen during wartime in the United States and in Britain and the entire Eurosphere, there was basically an effort that it looks like is happening at an elite level of banking to constantly game in paper currency what silver is worth. So silver never rises to $30 for now about a decade, even though it was at about 50 only about 12 years ago or something like that, like about 14 years ago. Silver was worth 14 units of paper money per ounce, and 14 years ago is about $50 of a unit of paper per ounce. So you have to have 50 units of paper to buy 1 ounce of silver. Somehow, there's supposedly so much coming out of the ground. It's like water. Right? So actually, here's something that kind of should blow you away. You could either buy a silver coin or 2.5 packs of cigarettes now. Roll that around in your mind. There's no way that this works. Tobacco is constantly growing. Paper for the cigarettes is constantly available. So what it is that you can't make F-15s even remotely affordable if silver is like water. But we know that all the missiles, all the jets, all the electronics for it, none of that's getting cheaper. And we are insistent on building these things. We're absolutely insisting, oh no, we need to have constantly this kind of industry going, to now the point that we are willing to say to the young, you're not worth shit. The only thing that matters is that we keep this various wars going. Everyone used to associate this with the Bush family. The Republicans have been pushing the Bush family out of the party. Yet somehow still, it's that the Republicans are the villains, the normal Republican voter, now to the point that people are willing to commit violence against them because of their anti-war, not just stance, but actual actions to end the military-industrial complex's hold over society, which was something that a generation before was fought by mostly political conservatives, Republicans, and Christians. There are plenty of Democrats probably in the armed forces, but we know the score. Everybody knows the score. This is mostly a southern outlet of Mississippi based thing. It's a cultural phenomena that the people who really fight most of the wars come from the red states. Holy crap, there is a lot of construction. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah. And so, not having an idea of how gold affects what is money, not understanding how this is a game to kind of keep various arms dealers of the East Coast, especially Virginia, and a lot of the Yankee states. Like nobody gets it. Bernie Sanders, his district, he needs the military-industrial complex. Bernie Sanders, his district would be broke as a joke if it wasn't for what the fuck? If it wasn't for I think it's the Air Force, money going constantly to the Air Force. Lindsey Graham, is one of these people. John McCain was one of these people. That they were constantly working it so that there was money going to the Air Force. This is why McCain and Lindsey Graham were so hot on the Syria thing, and working with the Syrian rebels / ISIS, and that's not that's the real deal. Like, there's photos of him with people who they would just change uniforms and appear on different TV channels, and in one they're the Free Syrian Army, and then they'll put on a uniform of an organization that was absolutely associated with ISIS. So and he's in photos with these people. There's a famous photo of John McCain standing with people who were basically members of ISIS. So all of this playing around with the minds of normal people who have normal things to worry about. You mostly just want to get paid fairly. The thing is, without really understanding the relationship of gold to the dollar, silver to the dollar, and why the trimetallic system was so important, there's no escaping war. There's no escaping the welfare state and its downsides. And multi-generational wealth becomes well, now you're seeing it. Your generation is seeing it. Multi-generational wealth is damn near impossible because you're being paid in toilet paper. That's arbitrarily kind of decided. I mean, we're actually at the stage that the federal government is considering price controls on various things. So without understanding this, without getting that this isn't right wing, the left found this out. What happened was those people became libertarians. As they became libertarian, they started to learn more and more and more about how the system was rigged. And somehow, that then libertarian influenced the throwing out of the Bush family of the Republican Party. And there's no way around that anymore. This has totally flipped the script, that now the Democrats have become a party of hardcore warfare. And the Republican Party are these peacenik libertarians that are just like, we can outcompete these countries because we actually are that good. You are that good, ladies. You are capable of science. You are capable of ingenuity. You're just not getting how it's being hampered.